Hi everybody and welcome back to the Upside Dan. I had the chance to go see Moonfall in 4DX. So normally I would not have seen this movie a second time, but I did want to get a 4DX video out there for you guys because I do love talking about the format and experiencing the format. So let me tell you if this 4DX experience is worth it. So I was a little nicer to this movie than most people were in their reviews. I gave it a 6 out of 10. I think it would drop a little bit. There is still fun moments in it. And when seeing it, for the first time early, I was like, this is going to be a pretty cool experience in 4DX. But, I didn't have anything to do. Might as well, I wouldn't do this for any movie. Like, if I really didn't like a movie and for some reason I didn't see it in 4DX and it is in 4DX, I probably wouldn't, rush back out to see it again. But this one, I was okay enough with it to check out the format to get a video out for you guys. Action, adventure, sci-fi, fantasy it's gonna be a fun time, I think, in 4DX. That really immerses you more into the movie, and with action, the seats can move a lot, and I think that this one does. When they're in the space shuttle, rockets, they're blasting off, they're in space, it's a lot of fun, because you almost feel like you're on the journey with them, and that's what 4DX does. There were times when the seats were rocking, and you're afraid that it's gonna throw you right out of the seat. I'm over-exaggerating a little bit, but there's really times in this movie where these seats are rocking more than I've ever experienced in a 4DX movie. The wide turns, of the rocket ships or the cars that are on Earth, moving with the camera angles even as we venture through space. It's a fun experience. There's a few good uses of water in this movie as the Earth starts to flood, kind of, while the moon is, affecting it with its gravitational pull or something like that. There's a lot of water stuff, so water will spray at you. They brought back fog with Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire, which I actually saw twice in 4DX last week, and they brought back fog, so I hadn't seen fog since my first 4DX experience, which was Spiral, and they would shoot fog at moments where there'd be smoke or fog or whatever on the screen. They brought it back with Harry Potter. I hadn't seen it between Spiral and Harry Potter 4. It's still here with Moonfall, so there were some good uses of that. The moving around, I think, is the big spectacle for this movie. The wind as well. As the spaceships are flying through, or the cars, or even just walking, you feel wind because they're outside. I think that they had some really good uses of all that here. So I do think the 4DX experience alone, my bias is for or against the film, or your bias is for or against the film, I think that this 4DX experience is a fun one. I would say that this 4DX experience is worth it. But my disclaimer is, if you weren't going to see this movie, you thought it looked bad, or you have already seen it not in 4DX and you didn't like it, don't expect 4DX to change that for any movie, really. Yes, it enhances the experience, it really does, but I wouldn't recommend 4DX if you've already seen it and did not like this movie at all, or if you were not going to see this movie in the first place. But if you don't have anything to do and you want to check out 4DX and you haven't yet, and you haven't checked out Moonfall yet, I would say that this may be a worthwhile experience, because 4DX is made for these kind of movies, for really good action, adventure, sci-fi, fantasy, those kind of movies. It's made for that, and I think that they do a really good job immersing you into the movie in this one. I will say though, the third act, I thought it was going to even be, when I first saw it, I was like, oh, that's gonna be amazing in 4DX, and it was fun. Maybe I had my expectations for 4DX too high, so not for the movie, because I didn't like the movie really. I thought it was okay, I thought it was fun in parts. 4DX definitely adds more fun to it, but I don't think it's gonna change your perspective of the movie altogether. So I definitely had more fun experiences in 4DX. And like in any movie, there is some downtime. If a cell phone vibrates, you'll feel it in your seat. So the spaceship scenes are really cool, but there are the car scenes, and car scenes are always really fun, even though I had issue with the CGI in those scenes. And obviously, this whole movie, turn your brain off. You have to suspend an amazing amount of disbelief for this movie. But the car scenes were still fun. There's wind blowing everywhere, they're skidding around, the seats are moving this way and this way. So I do think there is fun to be had. Again, just to reiterate, it's a fun 4DX experience, but not worth it if you didn't like the movie the first time and you were gonna go see it again just for 4DX. And not worth it, really, if you were not gonna see the movie. But I think if you wanna go see a movie, you have free time and there's nothing else out that you wanna see, and it's still in 4DX, maybe go check it out, but the movie's not a great movie. So just to reiterate a lot of my qualms with this movie, it's fun at times. I really had more fun in the first half. The third act, the reveals and the twists and the turns just got too bombastic. And I felt that even more in the second viewing, even though I kind of was more used to it because I was expecting it. And I kind of understood more, but at the same time, there's a lot that I don't know if I could explain to people. There is an emotional scene in the third act, and that was the one time when I really cared about these characters. It has to do with John Bradley's character, with Patrick Wilson's character. That scene was really well acted, and it was like the one time that I actually cared about these characters and their arcs. I did think some of them had good arcs, but some of them were generic, and I didn't care about most, if not all, of the characters that are on Earth. There's a lot of fun action in here, found a lot of fun adventure, but at the same time there's a lot of corny dialogue, bad writing. There's some bad CGI, but like I said, there's some really good CGI as well, and I still felt that the second time, so that's just surprising, you know, that the car stuff and some of the water stuff weren't the best CGI, but then you had good CGI. For the most part, I think in space, the space stuff, the moon stuff, it was pretty good CGI, and there were some really good shots. I think that this movie's too long, and it feels too long. The pacing's completely off, and I think that it was boring for parts, both by viewings, and like I said, I had more fun with the first half, and there is fun to have in the third act, but it's very dumb fun. You have to turn your brain off. You have to suspend every ounce of disbelief that you have. So I think that I would go down a little bit with my grade. I think I'm gonna give it a 5 out of 10. That's still higher, I think, than a lot of people are giving it. But I think that I would go a 5 out of 10 for this, because there was some fun that I had here and there was some good spectacle, but for the most part, it's a letdown of a movie. The 4DX experience, I don't think is going to change people's mind on the quality of the movie too much. But what did you think of Moonfall? Did you see it in 4DX? What did you think of the experience? Did you think it was worth it? Did you think that the 4DX experience was fun, but the movie was horrible? Let me know down in that comment section. Please blow up that moon. I mean, blow up the comment section. If you liked what you've seen here and you want to see some more, click around here to see some other content from me. Please like this video, comment on this video, share this video with the movie fans in your life, hit that notification bell, subscribe, and come to the Upside Dan.